Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G Bear's Lost Ways in the Desert. Yeah, Lost Ways in the Desert, May 8th, 2021. Yeah, I've been lost for a few days. Well, finally got some good weather. The wind finally calmed down to just a breeze, and I've been out here working in the garden. I want to show you my grapes. Look at this. I got grapes. I got grapes growing everywhere. Look at all the grapes gonna come on this plant. Oh my gosh, look at all those clusters of grapes. Yes, loving it. So anyway, I pruned a couple of branches off of this tomato plant, and I got them replanted in the ground there. I got to keep them really wet and see if they take. And when I was digging in here today, I noticed I have a lot of roly-poly, those little bugs they call roly-poly because when you go to touch them, they roll up in a little ball. Well, some people think, oh my God, those are bad for your garden. No, they're actually good for your garden. They'll break down the organic matter, the wood chips and stuff, very quickly and turn that into really good soil. So they're good for it. They also do something like absorb radiation and stuff that's in the soil. So something like that. Anyway, good little insects. Don't worry about them if you see them in your garden. They're tunneling under. They're not eating your plants. They're going after the dead organics. They're not really into live organics. They like the dead stuff. Okay, so some of the things that I've been doing over here. One thing is I moved this branch, the one that was going to be in the way of that graft, over on this side of this hose to try to train it to go that way a little way. Now what I can do is I can cut the branch right here, make a little cut in it, and then I'll put a support on it to bend it and curve it off in that direction, and then tape it up with this parafilm, which is like a waxed plastic tape, and it'll reheal, but it'll reheal going in an opposite direction. That's a lot like when you see a branch that gets broken on a tree, and then later it starts growing back again. Well, it just heals itself and just keeps on going. Well, I could do an intentional break on it, like down in here, so I can get it over. Because this is a Fuji apple graft that I got from my friend Andy's tree, and this one just went in on 4/11, so it's just under 1 month old. And look at, I've got sprouts popping out all around it, just beautifully. The Sharon apple that went in on 3/7, and this is now 5/7, so, or 5/8, so it's 2 months old. Look at the sprouts on this thing. Yeah, that one is definitely a keeper. That one's going to go really well. And this one was a fail, so I pulled it out, and I leave the tape on there so that the bark can heal underneath it without being affected by the sun. So this one down here looks like it's still got life in it, so I'm going to leave that one for a little while. That one went in way back on the 1st of March. So it should be further along than that. It may have oxidized, and it's not going to take, but we'll see. So everything got watered. I got my celery into the ground again, like I said, and it's starting to come back to life because I put it in the shade of the tree, so it only gets a couple of hours sun, like from now until sunset. The rest of the day it's indirect sun. It's got some shade. My peaches are really looking good. They're all walnut size right now, so you can see according to my fingers. So lots of peaches on this tree. I've noticed a couple of Siamese peaches I forgot to get off, or I missed them. There's two right there. Okay, those I take off because they suck a lot from the branch. But you can see that other big one right next to it, right there, is really doing well. And then there's another one down at the base of the branch down there that's doing well. So these will just take energy away from those others. So I'm probably coming by and popping those off. Okay, this is not a Siamese. This is two separate peaches that just happen to be close together. So that one's okay. All right, so that part's done. Let's move on down the line here. Over here on my Pfeiffer, this is my Pfeiffer tree, or the Kiefer tree, I'm sorry, the Kiefer peach. This is a branch off of that Bosque pear tree over there, and I grafted it into here, and yes, it's taken. And that one went in February 21st. So that one's doing really well. This one wasn't doing any good, so I had to take it off. And this is a Fuji apple chip graft right there. It's just a chip that I put into the side of the tree. You can see there's the base of it right there. And that's the top of it there. And that one is taken. I've taken the parafilm off of it because I don't want to strangle it so it could start growing out. When you do bud grafts, don't expect to see much out of them until the following year. But that bud will burst into a branch coming next year. And then we'll have some Fuji apple growing on this one. This graft had taken a long time ago, and it's still got some flex to it. But I think by adding another graft this close, well, I don't think, I know, adding another graft that close and then a chip graft right above it stole energy from this one. So I'm going to let it go and see if I can get it to come back. And if not, I'll just prune it off and wait till next year and do another one. Now here I had to do a couple of regrafts. This is a regraft right here I just did today. This was a Fuji apple, and it was down here, but it didn't take because it had oxidized. And when they oxidize, they'll turn kind of a darkish color. You lose the green from the cambium layer, and then of course it just won't heal. So I cut it back a little ways. It was still nice and green. So I redid the graft using my new tool to open the bark, and I got a really good contact on that one. So that should take, and we'll see that down the line. Some of these others up here, they seem to be, this was a regraft today because it had oxidized, and this is a modified cleft graft. So I redid it. It's a shorter unit, and I put some wax on the ends of it. When it's the weather has been weird because it's been hot and cold, hot and cold. When it's cool, you don't have to cover these things with aluminum foil. But when it's going to get too hot, you have to cover them in aluminum foil. And that to keep the sun off of them, to keep them from drying out. Well, because we've had this weird weather and then the winds, constant winds, the winds will dry a tree out. So those are going to be hit and miss. We'll see how they go down the line. Anyway, peppers, strawberries. I got a strawberry down there. It looks like it's getting ready to say, eat me, please eat me. So I will. I'll be back. All right, some of my bunch onions here are popping up. So yeah, I'm going to get some onions off of that. And this is a little Fuji apple. This was the leftover piece of the scion I had gotten from my friend Andy's tree. And I forgot that I had actually wrote it on the inside here. I said, last time I showed it, I said, I forgot to tag it. I forget what it is. But I did write it on the inside. It's a Fuji. And I put that in on April 11th. So it's been there almost a month. And it's taken, and it's actually broken through the parafilm at the top here. And it's got another bud coming out the top. So that's a happy little tree there. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I've been moving some things around. Because, oh yeah, these are my pomegranates. Because it's just getting too hot inside of the greenhouse, even with all four vents fully open, the doors fully open day and night. Doesn't matter, it's still getting 130, 140 degrees in there. So the apple trees were taking a hit. This one especially, this one really got hit badly by it. So I pulled it out. This bud graft looks like it may have taken a couple of the other grafts that dried up because the whole tree is drying up from the heat. So it's out here in the breezeway temporarily, and then I'll be moving some things around. I think I'm going to take this little shelf table and I'm going to put it right beside that one over there so I can do some other plants on there when the weather cools off, and not here just inside the doorway. It gives me some room to move around in there. So that's a plan. I did get some dates seeds and pear seeds in, and I got them watered, but the winds have been blowing so bad. I soak these things down. I go inside the cabin, come back out an hour later, touch the ground, and I could dig my finger down in there and it's dry all the way through. Just a, 24, 28 mile an hour winds, warm, dry, 7% humidity, just sucking the water right out of these things. This apple tree is doing pretty well. I'm going to keep it going, keep it wet. I had to take one of the grafts off there. This is what I talk about when I say it's oxidized. Let's see if I can show you better there. Okay, you see it's not green, it's brown on the inside. So that means that is probably, well, it's got a little bit of green on this end. It's probably dead. It doesn't have enough energy in it to be a successful graft scion. This one still is doing pretty good, so we'll keep that one on there. I never done one that long before, but it looked like a healthy branch, so I just figured I'd give it a try, and it seems to be doing well, so we'll leave it there. But I just sprayed the leaves on these with some nutrients to help try to really give it a boost back to them. I did water everything today, and I added fish emulsion. This stuff right here. This is really good. It says it's deodorized fish emulsion. Trust me, you mix this with water and you water your plants, you walk in there a little while later, you'll smell fish. It's not really overwhelming, but you'll smell it. As long as you're not a non-smoker. I mean, smokers don't have really good senses of smell, so go figure. Anyway, that's about all I can say for today. I just wanted to bring that back up. I did cut out a bunch of the cabbage here. Those are new ones. This is still one of the old ones, but I feed those for to the chickens. The chickens love those cabbage leaves, and that's a weed that'll get pulled out, and then I'll fill the rest of this in. But I'm thinking what I might end up doing, because I can't really afford to do the extension on my garden house. The price of lumber has gone through the roof. It's ridiculous. And a neighbor was mentioning they wanted to do a room addition. Well, when you see the price of lumber, you're going to say, well, I don't know. You're going to put a little room on, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. It used to cost you under $1,000. And I just can't see it, 2x4s are 3.5 times the price they were when I bought the ones for here. So, a lot of money. Can't see it. So, but what I was thinking was, what I might do is build the raised garden part that's going to go out there, and not do the cage like this big garden house, but instead put some 2x4s like this, only up as high as I need to put to let the plants grow underneath it. And then I can always modify it later, and if I just put the wire on and wire it together with twist ties or zip ties or something like that, just to keep the critters out, I can grow stuff out there. I may end up having to buy some shade cloth to cover it, because the sun's going to get really hot. And in here it works out nice. My avocado tree sprung right back after I took it out of that greenhouse and put it out here. It was all dried up like that apple tree, and just being out here in the greenhouse with the 60% sunshade, it just popped right back. So anyway, those are some of the plants. Sorry I haven't been able to get back to you. By the way, I'll be showing in the next day or so. I've got another item that's going to be a giveaway item, and I figured out how the giveaway contest is going to go. It's going to be a little bit of fun, just like the last time, you know, spot the seed package. Well, this is going to be a spot the numbers, and you'll have to tell me what the numbers were and where they were, and there'll be more than one per video, so you'll have to watch the whole video. You can't cheat. And I've already brought in a couple of friends of mine who don't really care about winning anything, but they're going to jump in on occasion and post their thoughts of what the numbers were and that stuff, just to throw you off, to see if anybody's cheating out there and just waiting for somebody else to report the what they found and copy them. So if you do, you may be copying the wrong person. And I'm not going to tell you who got the numbers right and who got the numbers wrong until after the deadline. See? I'm going to learn a little bit more every time and get this thing worked out to where we can take away the cheaters and the people that don't want to play right and keep the others inside. All right, everybody, that's all I have. Don't forget the thumbs up down there. Don't forget the subscriptions. We're almost there at 5,000. We're almost there. It's 100 and something to go. Let's get it there. G Bear signing off.